Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our playthrough of 428 Shibuya Scramble. I am here with Yoshi,
What's up, folks?
and this is what episode is this? 22? I think it's 22.
Uh, 22. Holy cow. 22? Okay, I was gonna say 17.
I know we hit 20 in like last episode or the episode before.
So we're legal.
Oh
If
yeah.
this were a person, you could take it to the movies.
Do you remember what happened last time? Looks like we did Minorikawa and Achi.
I remember Minorikawa plugged his computer back in and he tried to talk to Achi about the SOS and he was like, nah. And then they got stabbed and Achi died and that was not good. And then,
Oh yeah, and then we went to Minorikawa, and Minorikawa had
yeah.
his laptop yoinked.
Oh, and he ran around and got into all this silliness with Yanagishita.
And something happened.
Um, and yeah, and there was a new character who was kind of goofy. I don't remember who it was.
The shopkeeper was there. I don't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah, but he's not new. He's not new.
Was there a new guy?
I remember doing a new voice. Well, don't worry about it. What do you remember, Aljo? What can you add to that synopsis?
Um, I think that's good. I can't think of anything else that happened.
All right, so kind of a quiet week last week then.
Yeah, it was the start of a new hour. They're setting up a new
Yeah.
scenario. I think
Yeah.
Minorikawa's at a bad end. Achi is open up now, yeah, because we stopped Minorikawa from stopping him. So, where would you like to dive into?
Um, let's check in with let's check in with the homie Osawa. Haven't heard
Alright,
from him in a minute.
I'll hit the summary button once. Summary. The listening device turns out to be hidden in Tanaka's tie clip. Oh yeah, that happened. A gift given to him by Osawa's wife, Ai, who was suspicious of Tanaka's motives. Later, while speaking to Kano, Osawa has a realization. The kidnappers are after the antiviral he secretly injected into his daughter. He calls Tanaka, who admits to being in league with the kidnappers. Stunned, Osawa considers looking into Ai's past in order to unravel the mystery. So he decides to ask the reporter, Minorikawa, for help.
Okay. Um, Again, it's gonna take me a second to get this voice down. I've never truly trusted anyone, not on a fundamental level. Human beings are a type of organism that I can't get a true handle on through mere surface interactions. And the very fact that I've never trusted anyone else by that means, inevitably, no one else has ever trusted me. That was a bit of a garden path sentence because it said I think it said by that means, but it was like not. It was like by that.
And the very
Oh, I
fact that
just misread it.
I have never trusted anyone else means that, yeah,
I
it's
just
just
misread it.
they hit they hit return on the a weird spot.
All right. Sorry about that. English is hard. In the end, maybe the root of all my problems can be traced back to my heart.
As he waited for Minorikawa to contact him, Osawa thought about his current crisis. Assuming Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, then he must have accomplices. And these criminals had mistakenly abducted Maria in their attempt to get at the antiviral drug that was in Hitomi's blood. Maria and Hitomi were fraternal twins, but they looked similar enough to be mistaken for identical twins. Still, Tanaka would never confuse the two. The mix-up must have been made by some criminal who didn't know Maria or Hitomi personally. Insisting that Hitomi bring the ransom to the train station was obviously their solution. It had set her up for a second abduction. But piecing together this much of the kidnapper's plan only raised a different question. Why had Tanaka shown him those emails from Hitomi? In the bathroom. Wouldn't the criminals want to keep information like that hidden? The more Osawa thought about things, the less they made sense.
Just who are my true allies and who are my foes?
Is the banana guy gonna walk in?
I hope so.
Oh. Maybe this is him. Let me get the voice down.
Mr. Osawa, a delivery has arrived for you.
It was Kajiwara at the study door. I don't think that was his voice.
It was. I think it was close, like Mr. Osawa in delivery. He's like smarmy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like a smarmy nerd.
I think I went a little too Kermit, but
It's classic mistake.
I'll bring it back.
Come in.
Kajiwara stepped into the room and handed Osawa a letter-sized envelope. Osawa checked the label. Coming. The official Aya Kamiki fan club membership application enclosed. It requires a 1,000 yen initiation fee and yearly dues of 3,000 yen. So that's like $10 initiation. $30 of yearly dues. Membership grants several perks, including the opportunity to reserve concert tickets in advance of the general public. Osawa is fond of the members-only website content, which includes Aya Kamiki's blog and exclusive videos. Exclusive videos, huh? Right. He had requested the application the day he'd gotten back from overseas.
There are videos that are only for the fans.
Yeah. Oh, that's mine.
you.
That's me. Sorry, I was busy lifting my eyebrows up and then lowering them down quickly.
Would you mind opening that?
Kajiwara asked apologetically.
What for?
I'd just like to check the contents of any packages you received today, sir. It's possible the kidnapper may try to make contact you by mail.
Now that one was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
Osawa opened the envelope. Inside he found the expected application, along with several postcards featuring pictures of the singer. Ooh. Kajiwara peered pointedly at the postcard images.
You must really like her,
The detective said.
And just what sort of music do you listen to then?
Osawa asked, staring at one of the postcards. It was a striking photo that showed off Kamiki's expressive eyes.
Let me think. Mostly classical, I suppose.
Man, I thought he would be like into
Juice World?
yeah.
Young Thug?
Osawa raised a quizzical eyebrow.
You know,
Kajiwara continued.
like Mozart and Chopin and the like.
Who's the guy? Is it David Wise?
What?
He did the music for Donkey Kong Country.
I don't know. Sorry.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was an Austrian-born music prodigy and classical composer. He's got famous works, as you can see.
only to be 35 or maybe 34.
Yeah, back in the day, wasn't that like the average lifespan?
Um,
Around like
that was a short
mid-40s?
life for someone living in Austria in the 1700s, I think, who was that wealthy. I
Oh,
mean,
Chopin, that's like 39. Kind of same ballpark.
because these guys were doing bad stuff, probably, is why they died so young.
Composer and
They're
pianist.
musicians.
That's
They're like,
true.
what, composer and what?
Pianist of the early Romantic era.
He
National
had some
musician
famous
of
stuff
Poland.
too.
Anyways, he hummed a few bars.
Can't say I've ever heard them.
Are you serious?
Kajiwara looked shocked.
I'm familiar with the names, of course. I just never had much of an interest in music.
Oh, that's such a shame. Would you care to listen to a piece now?
Pardon me. I sneezed. That was not in character. That was just me sneezing. Um, yeah.
Always down for some new music, Rex.
I suppose I may as well.
Now that he brought it up, Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. The detective pulled a digital music player out of his pocket.
Here you go.
Osawa slipped the attached earbuds into his ears. He heard a flow of quiet strings that was soon joined by bold, dramatic horns. As the piece continued, it grew more profound and complex, and Osawa could feel his spirit calming. He took a deep breath, then expelled it through his nostrils. It felt as if the toxic gloom that had filled him was departing with the air. Before he knew it, nearly 10 minutes had passed.
What do you think?
Quite nice.
The theme of this piece is,
Kajiwara paused for a moment in thought.
well, it's about how erudition can be boorishness.
Erudition is accumulated knowledge. Often connotes an advanced or esoteric understanding. Displaying a moderate amount can impress others, but pompously flaunting it is bound to put them off. Good to know. We all know what boorishness is.
Yeah. Thank you. If I hadn't met you, I'd never have discovered this piece.
He spoke the words unthinkingly, with unaccustomed frankness. Was this the power of music, then?
I'm very happy to hear that, sir.
Osawa gazed at one of the postcards as he let himself be drawn back into the music. Aya was scooping up handfuls of mystical blue sand. The grains dripped down from her fingertips.
Feel like I could be in this photo here.
Osawa muttered.
Like I've lived my life letting so many things slip through my fingers. It's just like emo Osawa.
Osawa's pretty emo. Kajiwara thought for a moment before responding.
I think anyone who's worked hard to accomplish something and focused for a long time on that one thing is susceptible to those kind of feelings.
Accomplishing something means getting results. That's not where my problem is.
Osawa removed the headphones and gave back the music player.
You told me not to hide things from you, right?
Kajiwara nodded silently.
Then allow me to speak frankly.
Leaning back heavily in his chair, Osawa took another deep, slow breath. Not slow enough.
I'm anxious. So anxious that it's almost crushing me. That's why I talk like this.
Given the circumstances, sir, that's completely
No!
Osawa spoke up before Kajiwara could finish.
It's not that. It's not that at all.
He shook his head vigorously.
If the worst should happen to my daughter, how am I going to feel, I wonder? I'm not a man with a wide range of emotions. My heart is always cold somehow. And the truth is, I've wanted it to be that way. Which is why, if I do lose my daughter, my heart might remain unmoved. I may not even be able to feel a father's sorrow. That's what I'm anxious about.
He felt his emotions twist inside him in a way that was utterly confusing. For perhaps the first time in his life, he realized how fickle a thing the human heart could be.
It's all right, sir.
Kajiwara flashed him a carefree smile.
What's all right?
People who really have cold hearts don't worry about that sort of thing.
The detective held out his music player again.
Here, I'd like you to have this. Please, give it another listen if you like. I think it might help you calm your nerves.
Osawa took the offered device. He had dared to open up to Kajiwara just a little, and to his own surprise, he felt grateful for it.
And how about one of these as well?
The detective
I knew it was going to be a banana.
a banana from his pocket.
I'm fine, thanks. I don't eat foods that are shaped like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no banana. No, that's enough. We've ceded quite enough ground to this monkey man. I'm sure.
Osawa spoke firmly, then his expression softened a little.
You know, you've been getting on my nerves all day.
Really? And here I thought I'd been doing what I could to soothe your spirits, Mr. Osawa.
It's actually been a real long time since I've yelled at someone quite so much.
As the words left his lips, Osawa found himself thinking back to one particular rainy day. Maria had been in 5th grade at the time. Osawa was standing in his daughter's room. In his hands, he held the letter she'd left behind. He happened to glance out the window and saw Maria walking along, soaked from head to toe. In an instant, Osawa was consumed with rage. Maria had left a note. It read,
Dad, you only pay attention to Atomi. You're too busy to work to play with me. So, I'm running away from home.
Struck by an impulse he didn't quite understand, he ran from the room, heading for the front door. Maria had just gotten back inside. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead as she looked up at her father with a bitter glare. Alright, how do I do 5th grader Maria?
You don't care what happens to me, do you?
Impulsively, he slapped her face. Maria's cheek turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. Osawa's anger transformed abruptly into guilt. Is that blood? He gazed down at the palm of his hand and saw a tiny spot of blood. He was shocked by the recognition of what he'd just done. And then he was afraid. Afraid that his daughter could bring such raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless.
Is something wrong, Mr. Osawa?
Kajiwara was leaning in, looking concerned. Osawa came back into the moment with a start and realized he had buried his face in his hands.
No,
He muttered, looking up.
just getting angry, yelling at people. I'm not good with that sort of thing. I don't like it.
He picked up the music player and fidgeted with the earbuds as he spoke.
Well, getting angry and yelling at people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just human.
It's human to do those kinds of things.
I often said that he was cold and mechanical. Her sarcasm only underlined a fact he'd always lived with, that he didn't know how to conduct himself like a human being.
If you get angry, you show it.
Kajiwara said.
If you get sad, you show it. It's human nature to let other people know how we're feeling after all.
What if doing that hurts the other person?
That's when you apologize, sir.
Ah,
It occurred to Osawa that he'd never tried to tell anyone how he felt before. He'd never felt the need to. And yet, right now, he suddenly felt that if his daughters were to appear before him, he might blurt out everything he'd ever left unsaid. It was a terrifying thought.
darling,
I opened the door and stepped into the room.
the detectives are asking for you. It seems there's been a development. We'll be right there.
Osawa and Kajiwara hurried out of the room. Oh. Guess we'll never know. Alright, where to next? We got Kano, Achi, and Maria.
What about Maria?
Alright, let's see what's going on with her. Oh yeah, that's what's happening. But let's look at the summary really quick. She got the necklace. She went over to buy new clothes, and oh yeah, she found a photo in her pocket of a strange man. Do you remember who the strange man is?
No.
It was
It's Tanaka. It's no. No. If I had to guess, I'm not 100% on this, but if I had to guess, for my money, I would say that it probably, for my money, it's Kana's fiance's dad.
no. It's Stanley, the American.
Oh,
Jack Stanley. She's also picked up by 2 members of a crime syndicate. She remembers the Middle East, being imprisoned in a storeroom, and a man with a cane shows up, frees Maria, pulls a gun on her, and calls her Hitomi. I guess she doesn't know her name is Maria yet.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa?
At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. I think you voiced this guy.
Ooh, do you have any
Let
notes?
me look. Where's the assassin? No, I don't have any notes.
He looks, like kind of creepy. So probably have a creepy voice. He'd be like, what do you mean by that?
I think I remember the voice you had for him.
Did I nail it?
But it was a little different. You went a little. I don't know. It's hard to describe, I think. But it wasn't as nasally. The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am.
You're trying to play games with me.
I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good, hard look.
Damn it. I wonder.
He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun.
Tell me what you know.
It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. There's this guy with an afro who, I got a job I worked under and, oh, okay, it's whatever. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me.
I see. So that's what's going on then.
Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa?
No.
Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me?
Shut your mouth.
The man spits. I think maybe the word I'm thinking of is menacing. He had a little more menacing tone when he voiced him before. That's
Okay. Just be quiet.
Just however you want to read it.
I'm kind of attached to this voice
Yeah.
now.
His expression is vacant.
What am I going to do?
He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? What does her shirt say?
It says
UT head?
Okinmo UT head. Seems so.
In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. Doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. What should she do?
Force the action a little bit.
Go for the gun?
Go for the gun. What could go wrong?
I need to do something about that gun he has and then make a run for it. I pick up one of the crates that are lying around in the alley and hurl at the man with the cane.
Gross.
Then I book it right out of there. I run for a long time without looking back. When I finally do take a peek over my shoulder, there's no sign of the guy following me.
We're probably good then. These guys never pop back up.
Slowing my run to a walk, I notice Miku, the girl I fought for those cases of burning hammer, sitting on a nearby staircase. Hey, thanks for earlier, I call out. You tea-head? She gives me a puzzled look.
It says, "You joking me, you tea-head?" Or, I don't know.
After that M, it looks like... It doesn't look like an E.
Oh.
Anyways, I think you voiced Miku. What did I have next to her?
No, but that's still you. Because I look
Oh,
at
yeah,
you.
you're just... She's just looking at him. You let me have those diet drinks from the knick-knack shop? Revelation dawns on her face.
I think she has a husky voice.
Yeah, she is. She's like, oh, right. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. I didn't recognize you since you're not a cat anymore.
What are you doing here? I ask.
Just like, you know.
She gives me a half-hearted smile.
Say, where'd you learn Aikiki Jujutsu?
Huh? The question catches me off guard. I don't know what to say.
Your Aikiki Jujutsu. Where did you learn it?
My Aiki Jujitsu?
Oh, did I put in an extra syllable there? I was saying Aikiki.
Aiki Jujitsu.
Aiki Jujutsu.
Now that she mentions it, that's a great question. I mean, I must have learned somewhere, or my body wouldn't have moved the way it did back then. I wonder who taught me. Try as I might, though, I can't remember. Miku interprets my silence as a refusal to answer. She lets out an annoyed snort.
What, is it a trade secret? Fine then. How long did you train?
Not that long, I guess? Probably. I'm just trying to avoid telling her I have amnesia, but she probably thinks I'm being secretive.
You know,
She says angrily.
after losing to you, I've completely fallen apart. I've lost everything. Do you know how that feels? To feel like you've lost hold of the thing that makes you you?
I nod with conviction. I do know. I've lost things too. Like my memory.
You do? Well, I just can't take this anymore. I'm having a complete breakdown of identity.
Identity. Developmental psychologist Eric Homburger Erickson was a key proponent of the concept of self-identity, the ability of individuals to continually and reliably know who they are and what they should do. Cool.
I mean, I'm saying this having lost you and all, but a long time ago. Oh, do you mind if I tell you some stuff from a long time ago? Anyway, so a long time ago?
And so Miku launches into her story.
You think maybe it is for the best if I quit?
She asks at last. By now, 15 minutes or more have gone by. I've listened to Miku go on and on about her teenage years because I feel bad about getting her so depressed, but yikes. She's asked me all these questions I don't even understand, but although I'm starting to get sort of fed up with her angst, I keep my patience and respond as best I can. If you don't love doing it, then I don't think you should quit. Or if you love doing it, then I don't think you should quit, I tell her. Chances are, if you try to do something else, you're just going to come back to martial arts anyway. Besides, you probably owe it to the person who sent you down this path in the first place.
You think so? Maybe you're right. Yeah, Yeah, you are.
Miku's face has regained a measure of cheerfulness.
Thanks. I'm gonna keep on practicing more and more so I get stronger. I'm not gonna lose to you next time.
Haha, I'll keep that in mind. I've got no interest in fighting her again, but for now I'll keep that to myself.
Alright then, see you around.
With a parting wave, Miku hops to her feet and heads off. As I watch her leave, a feeling of jealousy wells up within me. Did I once have something I was that passionate about? I don't even know, because I can't remember. I just can't remember. That gunman, the one with the cane, he might know something about me. And at this point, I'm even willing to risk a run-in with the killer to find out more about myself. I decide to head back to where he was before.
What? We got so bored talking to whatever her name is that we're just going back to the guy with the gun.
When I arrive at the alley, though, there's nobody there. Paradoxically, I'm both relieved and severely disappointed. Then I happen to notice something lying on the ground. What is it? I pick it up. It's a notebook. Slipped into the back cover is a photo showing two boys and a girl. The boys are hugging each other as the girl watches. Anyway. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's this killer out there, and he's after this person named Hitomi Osawa. And then the police would be like, who is that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Heck, they might not even give me the time of day in the first place. Not only do I not have any idea who Hitomi Osawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her, except that he walks with the cane. I mean, I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro. Oh. Alright, who's next? Let's see if he's changed. He's still at a bad end. Kano, got Achi, and then keep outs.
Let's all right, let's eat our vegetables here and check in with Kano.
Alright. Kano it is. What happened last time? Syndicate members appear to have been killed by a covert agent named Kanan. What connection does he have with the mastermind behind this case? As the mystery deepens, the final destination for the ransom relay comes to light, a condominium owned by Mamoru Tanaka. Arriving there, Kano and Stanley realize that the relay was a fake. The kidnappers are actually after the antiviral drug which was given to Hitomi. Sasayama closes in on the escaped Al-Karawan, who may have essential information. But then, things take a sharp turn. Get it?
Yes, because he stabbed Sasayama.
Kano practically dived from the car when it arrived on the scene in Maria Macho. The place was teeming with officers and onlookers alike.
Out of the way, please. Move aside.
Kano forced his way through the throng. Sasayama was lying in a massive pool of blood.
Sasayama!
Kano rushed to his partner's side. The knife was still embedded deep in Sasayama's belly. Its handle shuddered each time He drew a labored breath.
Guess I messed up.
Sasayama could only manage a raspy murmur.
Ooh, nailed it. Please, don't try to talk.
Kano urged.
Looks like I won't be celebrating the Mrs. birthday.
Sasayama drew a small package from his pocket. It had been neatly wrapped and fitted with a pretty little ribbon.
Here. Give this to Mi-chan for me.
Kano shook his head.
No way. You can give it to her yourself.
You've never met Mi-chan, huh? She's real pretty. Probably surprised. Oh, sorry. This voice is how pretty she.
I know. You've told me all about her.
Kano, please. Give this to my wife for me.
Mustering up the last of his strength, Sasayama pressed the gift into Kano's hand.
Sasayama?
Sasayama's hand dropped back down into the puddle of blood. A paramedic team finally arrived at the scene. As Sasayama was loaded into the ambulance, Kano felt a surge of rage roiling inside him. Clenching his fist so hard his nails dug into his palm, he marched over to the captive Al-Karawan.
That son of a bitch.
He wound up for a punch to Al-Karawan's face, only to have his arm caught forcibly by the elbow. Spinning his head around, he found Stanley standing there.
Let go of me, Stanley.
But the American had a grip of steel, and Kano's arm wouldn't budge. They allow you to assault suspects here in Japan, do they? Kano bit his lip, and then lowered his shaking fist.
No, of course not.
He growled. Al-Karawan let out a nasal chuckle as he watched the pair. With a cold glare, Stanley strolled over to him. He leaned in close to whisper something, and all at once, the blood drained from Al-Karawan's face. Where do you think that blood's going?
It's going downtown, baby.
Visibly shaken, Al-Karawan said something back to Stanley. Stanley gave a slight nod, then left the captive with the police escort. Kano went over to him.
Hey, what was that all about?
It was adult stuff, kid. Apparently, Al-Karawan gave Hitomi some instructions. Told her to get into a blue minivan that was parked along Dogenzaka. So, Stanley's hunch had been correct. But why had Al-Karawan confessed so quickly?
How'd you get him to talk?
You don't need to know that. Turning on his heel, Stanley went to report the news about the blue van to the task force. Kuze immediately directed the detectives nearest Dogenzaka to look into it, but they found no blue minivan in the area. The order then came down for all personnel to search for the vehicle. Kano thought back to another item in the Dick diary. Dick Dictum, number 14. Use the dead as a stepping stone, but be sure to die a stepping stone yourself. In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice, but when he thought of Sasayama's blood-stained figure, it wasn't so easy to keep his emotions in check. First time you've ever seen a fellow officer get hurt? Stanley had come back over to him. We don't have time to relax. If you can't keep your anger in, then do something about it, here and now. Stanley pointed to his own jaw. Hit me, American style. Kano smiled wryly at the unexpected proposal. Ooh.
Let's hit this motherfucker. I never liked this guy.
See?
Yeah.
Without a word, Kano threw a punch. Stanley soaked up the rage-fueled blow, his face a mask of calm. Kano felt all the more miserable in the face of such unflinching resolve.
I weren't such a bumbling clod, Sasayama would never have...
Hey, don't blame yourself, Stanley said. You guys have been doing better than I expected.
More sarcasm, huh?
Stanley's mouth curled up sheepishly, and he held his hands wide. Kuze's voice suddenly cut in over the wireless.
We've located a blue minivan. It's in Jinan Ichikom on Chome on Koendori.
Nailed it. Hitomi might be there, and maybe the kidnapper's ringleader would turn up too. On pure reflex, Kano broke into a run. Stanley followed, close behind. They sped through the back streets, making their way toward Koendori. Kano was a pretty fast runner, but Stanley kept up with him without apparent difficulty.
Were you in the army or something?
No, the Marines.
You don't know what Marines are.
They're the United States Marine Corps, a rapid deployment force specializing in amphibious landing operations, an independent branch of the armed forces along with the Army, Navy, and Air Force. And Space Force. It wasn't much further to Koendori. Kano, if you find that van, don't get too close, Stanley warned. It could be a trap. These people will do anything to carry out their goals.
Anything, huh?
Kano could sense the truth of Stanley's words. He reminded himself that his life could depend on remembering them. He raised his eyes. They were coming up on Koendori. Suddenly, a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area.
Something's wrong.
Kano thought.
That's no ordinary city noise.
A column of black smoke rose up from between two nearby buildings. Passers-by stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Video.
Yeah, it's a interesting little mix-up.
Then Kano saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. The Shibuya precinct wasn't too far from here. Kano recalled the attempted bioterrorism attack on Kasumi Gaseki. 2 years ago, the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Commission obtained intel of an imminent bioterrorist attack within the city. 2 years ago from
2006.
I think so. Immediately afterward, an unoccupied minivan exploded outside the Metropolitan Police Department, and a device for dispersing a bacterial contagion was discovered at the subway platform at Kasumigaseki Station. Having determined that city bureaucracy was the target, the Japanese government contacted the terrorist organization responsible in secret, making a deal to put an end to the threat. That incident had begun with a van exploding outside of the Tokyo MPD station. Already, a large crowd of onlookers was gathering. Shouts rose up as they took in the scene.
What's going on?
Oh, well, what's going on?
What happened?
That car's on fire.
Kano called in to HQ, then quickly slipped around to the back of the burning vehicle. It was a minivan. Peering at the flaming chassis, he could see that there was someone inside.
Oh no. Could that be Hitomi?
Once they had their hands on the antiviral, the criminals would have no further use for Hitomi Osawa. Already, the body had been charred to ash. At this point, it was hardly recognizable as human anymore. Welp.
Probably a good stopping point for today.
Yeah. Let's see, everyone's at a keep out except for Achi, so I guess Achi's we're jumping into it.
Alright, my man.
And then we'll have to do something about Minorikawa's bad end. Alright, so what are your thoughts and impressions? Theories?
I am going back to, I'm backtracking on Tanaka. I think maybe he's a double agent. Maybe he's not a bad guy. He's playing both sides, but he's trying to help Osawa. Otherwise, why would he have shown him his email in the bathroom? Also, I think that Sasayama is not dead, but he might be dead.
He's just sleeping.
And for my money, I'm not 100% of this, but for my money, if I had to guess who that body is in the car, the charred corpse in the minivan, if I had to guess, I would say probably for my money, I would say it's Kano's girlfriend's dad.
Interesting. I guess I could see that. Because when that fire started, I heard like a yell in like a southern accent.
Yeah, I think I heard that too.
I guess it's hard to say what else you think would happen next, huh?
Yeah, I don't know anything.
All right, I guess we're down to the wind down part of the episode, where we just talk about random things. I don't really have anything to say.
I don't really have anything to say either.
Well, I guess we'll just end the video here then.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, folks.
See you guys next time. We'll do this next week.
Yeah.
We still gotta record a gameplay of Stardust Butterfly, but someday we'll get a third person to show up.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Nice.
See you guys next time.